Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly the steps that I go ahead and turn over to my clients to go ahead and make sure that they book a call with me, fill out a survey form, and that they're a little bit warmed up and have some information. I basically record a quick video going over exactly what we go ahead and do inside their business. So I'm going to go ahead and run an ad, right? This ad is basically going to be me explaining to them, grabbing their attention, the sales process, right? How we're going to go ahead and build their ads, where we're going to store their folders, and where we're going to actually go ahead and give them a guarantee, make sure they have honors badges, and make sure they go ahead and have converting ads that then can be sent to an AI caller. So this Google Drive specifically is something that I will have presenting to the client, whether it is whether we use a link, whether we send it to them as shared through Google Drive, whether we just text it to them on WhatsApp. The point is to get your client in front of information before you ever even hop on a call. So you want to go ahead and have folders open. You want to have at least a video, maybe an unlisted video on YouTube. And these are strategies that over the last 7 to 10 months at my agency have helped me scale and make things repeatable and easy. Because at the end of the day, some clients are going to say no, some of them are going to hold off, and some of them are just going to accept a deal. But you got to make sure that they have enough information so that it's not on your end of the bargain to go ahead and keep pursuing them. It's on the idea, if they're convinced enough that you can bring them the jobs that you're promising, especially in the Spanish market. This is ideally forwarded only to those working in a Spanish contracting market because they are a little bit more resonant when you speak their same language. I'm referring to Spanish contractors. Now, you can go ahead and also still show the contractors the exact system. I recommend you just forward it and allow them to see it on their own. If you're presenting this on the sales call, what's going to end up happening is they're going to get bored very fast. So you want this to be entered into their brain, right? Envisioned in their brain that this is what you're going to do for their business before you get there. And how do you do that? Well, you can send them a simple message on Gohighlevel. You can go ahead and share with them this Google Drive link. You can pre-record a video and upload it on unlisted YouTube video, or you can also go ahead and make kind of a Google Drive where you share this as a link as well. And this is exactly what we share with our clients. And if you'd like, go ahead, take this template and repaste it into your business so you can scale your Spanish contracting agency. Other things I would recommend is obviously having testimonial, right? Testimonial where you're talking with someone and it's actually resonating with the viewer or the ICP that you're going after. For example, this is a testimonial with a Spanish contractor.
Sí, ahorita ya mandé cuatro estimados.
Entonces, el valor de estimados que ha mandado ya, ¿cuánto estamos hablando?
Esto es los estimados que estaba mandando es.
Desde febrero ha mandado una cantidad de casi 48,000. Hemos gastado casi como 220 a generar como unos 14 leads. Acabamos de lanzar esta semana pasada.
254 fue el que se gastó esta semana, ¿verdad?
Yeah, esta semana, la semana pasada había gastado 254. Muchos contratistas en Estados Unidos se aman. So that is a type of ad that will grab attention. Obviously, when you're presenting to your client, though, you're going to want to go ahead and text them some information prior to you hopping on a call with them. So then you can let them know that, hey, this is kind of what we do for your business to discover, like if it's going to work out for you or not. Now, one important thing is that you have examples of funnels that you can show. That way, if they're really interested, and you can tell usually if someone's really interested, they're just like, yeah, man, it sounds good. I have actual live sales recording calls on my YouTube. If you want to go check out a couple other videos, check them out. They're just raw videos that you guys can study, and you can see kind of how I speak and lay out the idea of bringing more clients to a Spanish contractor, especially understanding that there are a lot of agencies that burn these Spanish contractors due to sometimes their circumstances being a little bit more difficult than others. For example, some of the biggest issues we have in our agency in the last 6-ish months, thankfully we were able to catch up on it and make it repeatable, but grabbing access to Facebook accounts with a 40-year-old contractor, 50-year-old contractor, it's not too tech savvy, is very stressful. So grabbing onto these little things and making SOPs for them is very useful. That's exactly where you're going to hold folders like this in your SOPs so that you're eventually able to pass along the torch to maybe a sales representative that's going to help you in your business. You can pass them along the torch, give them an SOP and tell them, hey, if you're able to understand that this is what the client needs to see, you can set the appointment, we can close the deal. And that is something that you should be working on and really prioritizing as a founder in your Spanish contractor agency, because that's what's going to basically get you paid. You want to be focusing on sales. The back end are actual $3 an hour activities. I'm going to go ahead and show you an example real quick. If I pull this up real quick, these are actually what I call the big five. These are a look into our workflows for our specific SOP. What are we going to have built out for the client? So if I just go over these real quick, the big five is essentially what you're explaining to the client. Now, we're not going to tell them exactly like how this is built out, how we're going to go ahead and basically build this out for them in 4 days, but we're going to go ahead and position it as is. This is our software. We're going to enter into your business, connect the big five, which is what we do when a client comes in, how that client actually gets saved, when the client books an appointment, what happens, and then when you close the deal, what happens. The last one is a meta conversion booked appointment, which is probably the most important of these all. You want to be focusing on scaling for booked appointments and not just leads. And we'll go into that in a moment. But if we go from step 1 to step 5, first is we need to get an incoming lead. So that is exactly what I'm explaining here. An incoming lead is just a workflow that basically will text us and will text our client, and we're gonna trigger our AI caller. If you guys haven't heard the AI caller, I haven't played it yet in this exact video, but the AI caller sounds something like this.
Hi. If you record your name, thanks.
Calling to help get June 1st or 2nd works. Which day do you prefer? And would morning or afternoon be better?
Morning would be better, June 1st.
So that is an AI caller, right? And that's going to be triggered based off the incoming lead workflow, right? The next step would be after the AI caller takes that call, the person's either going to pick up or not pick up. After 5 minutes, if they don't pick up, they're always going to get added to AI caller never booked. But if they do pick up and they book an appointment, obviously it's going to come in as incoming booked appointment. All right? If they never booked, that means that we're going to keep on calling them for the next 2 weeks for that client, every day, once in the morning, once in the night, and that is the third workflow. So we have incoming lead, the first one, incoming booked appointment. If they picked up that retail caller and they booked the appointment, they have like 5 minutes, right, to get this kind of taken care of. If not, it's okay. They're still going to get calls, later on in the day. And we also have the automation set up when someone self-books on the calendar, or like we get a booked appointment. That's kind of the fourth workflow. If they book an appointment, we want to take them out of all workflows. We don't want to keep pestering them, sending them marketing messages. Just take them out. And this is kind of what we're explaining to the client. If they're a little bit more on the, lacking a little bit more confidence, we'll literally go ahead and obviously explain to them the route that we're going to take the client through, but we're going to let them visualize. What do I mean by this? Well, if we go into the funnels real quick, I had an example here. Give me a second. If we go into the funnels, let me pull up this real quick, where we go ahead and share the links, copy to our clients of what the landing pages kind of look like. Once the landing pages is filled out, they book an appointment. We don't want to keep pestering them, so we go ahead and remove all the workflows and all the kind of messages and tweaks that we've been, eyeing and looking at, and we go ahead and just wrap it up, send the lead off to the client, and the last one would be the fifth workflow. When that form is submitted and their calendar is submitted, which is the next step of this funnel, we're gonna go ahead and give that conversion, because that's what we're scheduling for. We're gonna give that conversion over to our client and over to their Facebook account. So Meta can be like, okay, this is my ideal client. This person is the type of person that's gonna schedule a booked appointment with us. I want more of these. So yes, we're still taking in any leads that go ahead and fill out a form like this, but usually what happens then is just they get saved in a folder in the high-level CRM. We go ahead and pass it on to our client, and then from there, if they schedule an appointment, that's what we send back to Facebook, so we know we're actually tracking and optimizing for the right conversions, which is what we want. So this is one example of the landing pages, and then this is another example of a landing page that I'm going to show you guys. And feel free to literally go ahead, study this, and optimize your own landing pages by giving this CSS or similar screenshots over to Lovable, or you can literally just give it to Gemini. These were built on Gemini and then imported on Gohighlevel. You have a VA doing that because that is $3 an hour activities, but if you need assistance on setting up a client from start to finish, like actually booking them in, closing them, loading their ad account, and setting up the retail call, AI caller rate, the workflows, these ones specifically, if you need access to these and how to build it out, I have like an hour-long tutorial on my YouTube. Check that out. It's a full AI agency course on how to set up a SMMA client using these AI systems, where you're just saving information, letting the AI kind of put it all together and bunch it up, and then going ahead and setting the appointment off, which you can charge thousands of dollars to contractors, whether you're in this English, Spanish, French, Europe market, whatever market is, social media marketing is not going anywhere. These are two examples of how landing pages look, and then they kind of just go ahead and submit, and then they go to a calendar, and then you get the point. But apart from that, this video is specifically to highlight what we in the last 7 to 10 months have witnessed works best in the Spanish contracting agency. And if we just did a quick recap on exactly what we went over what we present to a client prior to hopping on a call with them, which is probably some testimonial, right? Some of our Google review images, some examples of ads, a couple AI caller examples. Maybe if we're recording a YouTube video, we'll have this in the background and we'll put something along the lines like, hey, we're going to go ahead and give you a guarantee deposit, fully refundable, some sort of non-risk factor so they can go ahead and kind of close with you rather than if they're weighing on the edge with a competitor. So, and on the other contrary, some actual ads. We're going to possibly try to reel the client in with a little bit more information. If they're taking a little bit longer to kind of book an appointment with you, go ahead and hit them up on the email and the SMS nurture with a simple sequence where you're maybe giving over a strategy, Google document where you're showing them what other agencies or what other contractors are doing. The last pivot point I would say is have some hyperlink examples, some demos ready to kind of show off to the client, because that is what's going to actually close the deal. If they can get their own demo, or if you can get them someone in a similar niche to them, especially after you've micro niche down, like let's say this client's only doing cabinet refacing or only doing kitchen granite. If you can show them a repeated, or if you can show them an example of someone else in their micro niche, they're going to go ahead and feel more fun and be like, this person knows exactly what they need to do for me. I want to close with them. And that's just a couple of things that I was able to quickly come across. I know it's a faster video, guys. I have a couple things I need to knock out tonight. I wanted to just get this video out for you guys and show you the simple things that have helped me in the last 7 to 10 months scale my agency. And of course, guys, if you want access to these workflows, you can also just grab a 30-day free trial in the description, and you'll have like the snapshot with a full AI agency build out. That comes with one workflow folder that has the big 5 all filled out for you. You basically just need to go in there and kind of swap out for example, the calendars. Let's say if you're building it out for the incoming lead on self-book, you kind of have to swap out the calendar, right? But the SMS and the copy will all still be there. You'll say something along the lines like, hey, this is Victor's assistant at NW Construction, right? If you want these, go ahead, grab them. They're yours. Just use the link for the Gohighlevel or email me at Kevin@Tactical Pipeline. I just want to drop this information, show you guys a couple of things that have helped me in my Spanish contracting agency kind of retain and also present myself a little bit more in the light, especially with this market that I'm in. You guys understand the Spanish contractor market resonates with you, yes, if you speak Spanish very well, but they resonate with you a lot more if you actually are able to prove your results and let the numbers do the talking. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. I appreciate you making it to the end, and peace out.